Hi, sixth grade. Today we are going to add color to your Rizzi cities. You're going to add color to your Rizzi cities. If you look at yesterday's drawing and you want to draw another one, that's totally fine. If you felt like yesterday was a little bit more practice, that's a-okay. And so what I want to show you is, I know that you all have different art materials at home. Some of you have crayon, some have markers, some have colored pencils. If you have even watercolor or something else, that would be fine. You want to, when you're adding color though, you want to choose one material to do all of the adding of the color with. And you want to think about the properties or the way that art material works the best. And so if you're choosing crayon, it should look like a crayon artwork. If you're using colored pencil, it should look like the properties of colored pencil. The same with markers. And so what I want to show you just a little bit today is quick strategies with crayon, colored pencil, and marker. If we were doing this in class, it would take us more than one class period. So today's goals: watch the video, think about the properties of the art material you're choosing, and then begin. Spend about 25 minutes or so working on this, and then save it, take a picture, and then we'll save it and finish it on Monday. You do not need to add color to the whole thing today. Okay, let me start with crayon. And just a couple things to keep in mind. And this is true for lots of sort of adding color. If I go around the edges first, and I can use a darker pressure on my edges. Whoops, sorry, you can't quite see what I'm doing here. Let's try this like this. Bring this a little closer. I can use some more pressure at my edges and then lighter pressure through the middle of the drawing or the coloring. I'm going to add a few more windows here to this building, and if I make them bigger, I don't need quite as many. So the things that I'm looking for as an art teacher, what am I assessing? I'm assessing the way that you have applied color so that it looks like the material that you've used. I'm also looking for a high level of neatness. Are you staying within those defined spaces? So are you using the material the way it can be used? And have you taken the time to use that material well? So it doesn't mean that the crayon should look like marker. It means the crayon should look like crayon, but that you're going to take your time and use that well. It doesn't mean a lot of pressure. I can use that lightly. I'm also looking for a balance of color. So I have some green here. I'm going to put green somewhere else in my work. You can see the blue is here and the blue is here. Let me just quickly talk about the sky with crayons. I've sort of got this grayish blue color, and I'm going to use less pressure closer to my buildings. Even though I'm sort of moving that crayon quickly, because I'm using some light pressure, it's going to look neater. And again, I can go multiple directions to sort of soften that up. Here's just a little bit, something I want to show you. These are crayon, this is colored pencil. It will look sloppy if you leave gaps between your lines. It will look neater if it's filled in such that those marks are closer. So if I have a lot of space, it will look sloppier. Even if I work quickly, if my lines are closer together, it will look neater. Okay. I know I'm moving a little quickly. Let's jump to marker. If you're using yellow, you want to use the yellow first because it will blend or smear the other colors, and then the tip of the yellow won't be yellow anymore. So if I'm going to add yellow to the mood, I want to do that and then do the darker color around it. If I do this, you can see I've got these blue first, but the markers had some time to dry, so it shouldn't smear it too much. Have you ever picked up a yellow marker and the top isn't yellow anymore? Like you can see there's a tiny little bit of blue on that one. Windows don't all have to be yellow. They can be lots of different colors. This is a darker orange marker here. And what I want to think about with the marker, again, is doing the edges first and staying within those lines. And so you can see I'm turning my page so that the tip of the marker is at the line, and that's going to help me fill it in neater. I'm going to go around the windows and then add color to the other empty spaces, because then I can just sort of think about those edges. And then I can add color in between, and that will help me stay within those lines. I think marker is a great solution if you have it, especially for the buildings and the windows. Marker gets a little bit tricky in the sky, and so let me just finish this for you. Fill in those little potholes, those little small gaps. For the sky, one strategy is to add more things into your sky so I don't have such a big space. You could even add another building here or part of a building here. To reduce the amount of sky that I have. Fix this, thicken that line. But I do want to think about the direction that my marker is moving, because in a large space you'll see those marker lines. So you can see that I've traced my star first, and then I'm going to fill in around it. And I'm going to try and have those lines be horizontal. If my lines are vertical, it will look like it's raining, which could be a cool thing for you to think about. So even though I'm choosing a dark blue here, you can still see those marker lines. And that's okay. That's one of the properties of marker, and you can use it to add really cool textures. You just need to think about it when you're filling something in. Okay, colored pencil. I do not have a pencil sharpener with me. If you're going to use colored pencil, you want to make sure you have a sharpener though, because as you're working, you're going to see the wooden part stand out, and that's going to scratch your paper. So you do want to have a sharpener. Again, a balance of color. You can see I have blue here. Maybe I'm going to put blue somewhere else. With the colored pencil, again, and this is colored pencil, it looks similar to the crayon marks. If I leave gaps in between my mark, it will look sloppier. Also, if I have a lot of hard pressure, it may look sloppier. So colored pencils are really great to apply softly. Another cool part about colored pencil is you can blend two colors together to create a new color. And I would blend colors that are next to each other in the color wheel. So red and orange will blend together really well. And again, once the wooden part starts to show, that will scratch your paper. So just be mindful of that. You don't have to blend the colors, but you can. And again, I can vary my pressure. I can make the edges a little darker if I want. I'm going to go around these windows. And again, a lighter, softer pressure, and my hand is in the middle to help out with that. With my marks close together is going to help that colored pencil look successful. Here's one other strategy with colored pencil. If you put another paper behind it, it's going to, it's going to soften that a little bit more. Right, make sure you're thinking about the edges, looking for potholes, thinking about the direction of your marks. So if you find that your work looks really strokey, like, oh, I see all of those lines in the direction that I made them, go over it again in the other direction, and that will help to soften it up. Again, I think colored pencil could work really well with the buildings. It's a little bit trickier with the sky. So I've got actually a couple colors happening here. Softer pressure, horizontal lines. And even though I'm working with a quicker mark, right, it looks like I'm filling it in really fast. Because I am just using a little bit of soft pressure, it's going to maintain that neatness. Okay, work for about 25 minutes today, even if that's like 10 minutes watching the video and 15 minutes adding the color. Take a photo at the end of class today. It should not be finished. Then finish it on Monday. If you need to draw your drawing again, just let me know that so I can sort of take into account how much you were able to accomplish in the class time. And if you need to look at James Rizzi's work, please do open up those other assignments and check it out.